Hey y'all, welcome back for another Black Phoenix Dance Fitness tutorial. We doing it. So, here we are y'all. I got my heels on. We're gonna talk about some heel technique. More so I have an 8-inch platform on. I'm gonna show you how you can maneuver comfortably. And of course a few tips and tricks on how you could be a heel goddess out there, okay? Let's begin. All right, so let's get the journey started. First of all, let's actually talk about walking in our heel, right? If you have a 7-inch platform heel, remember I have an 8. Your engagement, of course, in any heel is going to be from the ankle down to your toe box, right? So if you notice when I lift my foot off, I'm flexed here. You want to make sure your ankle is down to that arch, but pointing all the way to your toe box, and that's where your weight is going to be shifted when you walk. Now, you do not want to walk like you're in a tennis shoe, right? And of course, you're not marching. So let's actually talk about the first thing. If you notice, I just switched it up here. I'm going to give a nice little draw with my toe box. So with each step, I'm going to do as slow as possible. You want to engage your ankle to give a slight little drag towards the front of your toe box, to set the foot, shift the weight, and repeat. Good, so then you want to give a nice little drag, soft little drag. And if you notice, I'm also kind of turning my hips and my feet towards the base of the pole, like so. So that's the first portion. Let's talk about walking, right? Good. So once you get a handle of that, and of course you can then talk about pivoting, switching out the direction. So that way you can practice both sides. And make sure you're engaged in the ankle. So the main portion here, even when I'm towards the back, I'm going to go for my next step. Give a nice little slight drag, shift the weight to repeat. That's walking 101. The next piece of movement I'm going to talk about is actually how we also do some of our undulations or swaying the hips while we're in our shoe. The second part I'm actually going to go over is our body rolls when it comes to wearing our shoes here, right? So I'm going to do this facing you here, right behind my pole. And I'm going to breeze through this, of course, because at this point I'm quite sure we already know how to body roll, so to speak. So of course, whenever you're pulling a pole, chest, stomach, pelvis, but notice that I have a heel on now, my ankle's going to engage down to my toe box, to the tip of my toe box, heels are off, which should allow me stability to pull my booty back and restart my journey. Remember, with body rolls, you also want to give a pull and push with my arms, like so. Good. And if you notice here, when you're pulling the hips back, it's almost giving a little bit like a butterfly. So my hips are turning out when I pull the hips back, turning in when I'm coming forward. The main portion here is making sure that those ankles is nice and engaged down to the toe box here. So now when you're stabilizing your weight, knee stacked over the toe box to pull the hips back. Let me do this side profile here, at least a little bit catapult. So from here, remember, notice that my ankle's going to be engaged, start off, heels slightly off the floor, starting the journey with the pole, chest, stomach, pelvis, knees going to stack over the toe box, ankles down to the toe box, to pull the hips back, and repeat. Good. Now, elevating here, remember, body rolls doesn't have to be straight up, chest towards the pole. Now, your legs are kind of softly away, so I'm actually going to do this body roll technique away from the pole. This is going to allow me to stay a little bit more upright. So I'm still giving a little bit of a pull on the pole to start my journey, chest forward, but I'm going to keep the upper body erect. Once again, ankles down to the toe box, you pull the hips back, and softly give that pull and push to keep yourself nice and afloat. Good. And one last little motion you can do to kind of isolate the lower portion of your body for a nice, good lower body undulation here. If you watch my technique here, I'm going to start off by pulling the chest back, but as I go through this portion, I'm going to pull on the pole, engage my shoulder blades back to really focus on the lower parts of my body. So notice I'm pulling my chest and my shoulders back, giving tension on the pole, and I'm really focusing that undulation, saying that chest, stomach, pelvis sit, but it really tightens up the top and allows you to focus on the lower regions of your body, like so. Next thing we're going to talk about is actually maneuvering with shifting our hips. Okay, so the final Your feet are right outside the shoulders and consistently. Repetition is key. Make sure ankles are placed down. Weight to the ball of the foot to your platform. Softly pivoting, turning the hips towards the side. I'm intentionally turning my hips or pivoting towards the left. I'm gonna push my weight, right hip into the left hip. Notice my knees gonna softly stack over my platform, my toe box. As soon as you feel the weight there, you wanna pivot right back to the other side and push that weight off to your other shoe to then soften it up and give a little more ebb and flow. Good. Let's try it behind so you have a little bit more stability like so. So from here, remember my feet are comfortably right outside the shoulders, ankles engaged down to my toe box. I'm gonna softly pivot my hips to one side, so this time I'm doing it towards my right. I'm gonna push the weight off. Notice my knees stack over the toe box. I push that weight right back over. Good, good, good. And then of course to elevate this, you can then pull the chest down, push the booty back to go for a little bit more of an intimate motion, and then bring yourself up. Always remember too, your hands and slips help you stabilize yourself. So always give like a slight pull down to make sure that you're nice and sturdy. So I'll do that facing the back, because why not? Okay, cool. So remember, same thing here. You want to shift that weight. And of course, this is a good view, of course. So that way you do a little bit of booty to your audience. Remember that ebb and flow, pushing weight off one side to the next as you give a soft little bit. And that's for your hip undulations. And there you have it, friends. Those are some tricks and tips that you can start your heel journey right now and feel nice and comfortable, okay? Of course, later on, we'll talk a little bit more about progression, spins, and the like. You're gonna be heel masters in no time. Thank you always for your love and support. And if you do decide to try this out, of course, make sure you tag me on Instagram at DayPhoenix, which all of the things is on the title screen right after this. I'll catch you for the next tutorial.